My partner and I have been trying to conceive for probably about 12 months, where we realized something wasn't kind of working. So we looked into different options, and that's when we went down the IVF route. We had 2 rounds of IVF that unfortunately weren't successful, and I'd gotten to the point where I guess I felt quite hopeless. I felt quite kind of, we were exploring all of these medical avenues, and things weren't working, and I kind of felt I wanted to get some control over how could I influence things. So rather than waiting for the next IVF and seeing if it was successful, was there anything within my power that I could do differently? And I'd spoken to the medical professionals at our fertility clinic, and they'd said, eat healthily, but that's about it. And don't get too stressed, but don't worry about it too much, basically. And so I started looking online about things like diet, but there was just so much conflicting information. There were so many things saying, do this, don't do this. And that's when I came across Gyna. And that's when I decided this felt like a really good way of something where I could get a bit of control back and actually start making some changes that could help from a fertility perspective. I was quite nervous at the beginning. I wasn't sure what to expect and how I'd get on with it, but I think that there was a trial, so I thought, great, let's see how we got on. And it really, really helped me not just kind of educate myself, but just with my mindset. I suddenly felt like I was in a bit more control. I was doing something to help. There was little steps I could take every day. So every day I felt I was increasing my knowledge, and I was making positive steps that are going to help my fertility. And what I really liked is you had one place to go, you had one source that was telling you steps to do, or small changes that you could make. So it became a lot easier to manage, and nothing was completely, you had to really change kind of all your whole way of living. Everything was small incremental changes that you could introduce slowly. And what I really loved is everything was explained, everything was backed by a study. So it wasn't just do this because you've seen it on the internet. It explained there's been a study and this is the impact it's had. And it felt so much more powerful that I really kind of bought into it. And it really made me feel hopeful. Having those little courses to do every day really helped. It really did make me a far nicer person to be around, probably for my husband, a happier person. And yeah, couldn't recommend it enough. I've already been telling lots of my friends who are going through kind of fertility and thinking about starting a family just how much of an impact it's had. We were actually waiting to do our 3rd round of IVF. The doctors had said you can try to conceive naturally, but it's very unlikely. But we thought we'd give it a go. I was using Gyna for about 2 months when I was very surprised that I'd managed to conceive naturally. So I'm 3 months pregnant now. So it's 5 months in total I've been using it. Firstly, it's horrible, it's hard, and it's okay to acknowledge that, because I think it's everyone, or I certainly was trying to put a brave face on and pretend everything was fine. And then secondly, just trying to find a tool or find something that works for you. And for me, that certainly was Gyna, where you can feel like you have control again, because that was the biggest bit for me. When I started to feel hopeless, I could tell kind of mentally I was not in the right mind frame for trying to conceive a baby or anything like that. So trying to stay positive, which is easier said than done, but finding something that can help you do that has really changed my experience. I truly believe if I hadn't have found Gyna and changed my mindset, made some lifestyle changes, that I wouldn't be in the position I am today. Obviously, the people that are having challenges with fertility, I think especially really great to help give a little bit more structure and a little bit more positivity to what they're doing. But I also just think, women who are starting to think about it, what I found really amazing around when I was doing the courses is just how much impact things like diet and lifestyle can have on the success of getting pregnant. But actually, once you have the baby, I think there were some things in the study saying certain things about deficiencies or nutrients, if you've got the right amount, you can see positive effects 7 years after the child's born in some cases. It's crazy. So I think just everyone educating themselves. You have to take folic acid up kind of 3 months before you conceive a child, and most people know that, but I think most people don't know all of the other things that can have an impact. So I'd say anyone that's starting to think about that next stage of life and maybe starting to conceive children, really useful tool to upskill themselves. So it's just so worth doing it, educating yourself, and at least understanding it's not saying you have to implement absolutely everything, but having that information, equipping yourself with the knowledge, I think is invaluable.